It's a technological showcase on two wheels. Suzuki improved its GSXR 1000 ahead of MY 2020 in a bid to reclaim the king of sportbikes crown, as the factory so succinctly puts it. This rebuild comes close on the heels of the last revamp that landed just a couple short years ago, but it adds some significant features, most of which can be found under the hood or in the electronics suite. A couple of tweaks to the frame tune handling characteristics, while the cornering ABS feature and variable valve timing engine carries over from the previous generation. All in all, Suzuki turns in a very streetworthy racebike that's nothing short of a technological showcase on two wheels. The wind tunnel tested attributes of the GSXR 1000 are apparent at a glance. In front, the fender uprights multitask as supports for the close-fit fender, but they also protect the swept areas of the fork tubes. The uprights act as shunts to guide the incoming air away from the tube and into the slipstream as it passes over the engine cowlings in a bid to lower drag and improve penetration. Up top, a smoked bubble screen forms the rider's pocket with standoff mirrors mounted on the mullions, and I have to gig the factory for missing an opportunity to integrate the blinkers with the mirrors, a fairly major oversight on a bike that could potentially see a track at some point in its life. A compact LED headlight rides recessed between two ram air induction ports in the tip of the nose, a detail that delivers a roughly 2.5% increase in power once you get it up to speed. Clip-on bars pull you forward to encourage a prone riding position, and that tendency is reinforced by the jockey mount foot pegs and the flat, forward slope top of the 4.2-gallon fuel tank. Saddle height is typically high at 32.48 inches off the deck, and this will undoubtedly tax riders with short inseams, but it's to be expected on a bike that's built for the bends. Nothin' for it. An abbreviated P-pad and fold-up foot pegs completes the passenger's package for a brave friend. On the flip side, strike the footpegs from the bike ahead of race stays and cover the P-pad for a solo, racer look. Aerodynamic considerations dictate the shape of the tail and position of the LED taillight at its terminus, and out back is the usual mudguard, plateholder, turn signal assembly that concentrates the gear in the rear and makes it easy to remove as a unit if you actually want to race on a track. Overall, the outside of the GSXR looks pretty much like last year with the exception of the addition of a two-tone paint scheme, but the real magic is hidden beneath the skin. Suzuki chassis. Suzuki tweaked the aluminum twin spar frame on the GSXR 1000 a bit to improve aerodynamics and handling. First, the engine was rotated back by 6 degrees. This allowed for the perimeter frame to be narrowed by 20 mm and the length of the aluminum swingarm extended by 40 mm with a 10% reduction in frame mass. The steering head establishes some pretty tight numbers with its 23.2-inch rake and 3.7-inch trail to give the new GSXR 1000 an 11.5-foot turning radius and an eager nature in the corners. I'm talking about dragon elbow eager over here, if you have the guts for it. The factory capitalized on its newly narrowed frame to mount equally narrow bodywork to maximize penetration. As for suspension, a set of Showa BPF forks lead the way with the full trinity plus one of adjustments that include both low-speed and high-speed compression damper adjustments. Suspension stroke measures at 4.7 inches up front and 5.31 inches out back, where the Showa remote reservoir shock absorber takes care of business with the same 4 adjustments. Cast, 6-spoke wheels strike a balance between low unsprung weight and high strength, and it seems that even the hoops contribute to the former. The Bridgestone Racing Street 11 Rupees tires have a low-mass construction, all in a bid to make suspension response as supple as possible and protect the integrity of the contact patches. Suzuki's Motion Track anti-lock brake system calculates the available traction based on data from the inertial measurement unit and modulates the level of intervention based on same for the first of many electronic safety systems. Dual, 4-piston calipers bite 320 mm front discs, while out back, a single pod anchor grabs a 240 mm disc to manage the great energy this GSXR can develop. Suzuki drivetrain quote, title equals variable intake cam timing uses a centrifugal device that changes the drive gear and cam rotation relative to one another in a move that deepens the power band without sacrificing top-end power. We have a lot to go over with the copious gadgetry the beating heart on the GSXR 1000 brings to the table, but first, the hardware. The liquid-cooled, 4-banger mill runs an over-square layout with a 76 mm bore and 55.1 mm stroke for a total displacement of 999.8 cc and a fairly hot compression ratio of 13.2 to 1. Suzuki keeps to its even firing order standard, so the engine does its thing without excessive vibration. Lightweight titanium valves and finger follower actuation reduce the reciprocating mass up top, and that pays off in a 14,500 revolutions per minute redline. Variable intake cam timing uses a centrifugal device that changes the drive gear and cam rotation relative to one another in a move that deepens the power band without sacrificing top-end power. Ride-by-wire throttle control and electronic throttle bodies provide the basis of the engine control, but there are more moving parts than that, lots more. An automatic idle speed control feature helps with cold starts, and servo motors actuate the throttle plates for lightning-fast corrections. Top feed injectors deliver the juice directly into the intake funnels for improved combustion efficiency and control, and the funnels are paired in 2 different lengths, a feature that is largely responsible for the widened power band. A valve in the crossover tube controls pressure sharing for different requirements between low RPM and high RPM operation to widen the band even further. The electronics are even more impressive. A 32-bit ECM reads data from the IMU to deliver motion traction control protection similar to the ABS that senses forces acting on the bike and automatically modulates its levels of intervention accordingly. Suzuki's drive mode selector lets you dial in the power delivery to match conditions. An easy start feature allows for starts with only a momentary push of the button. The starter automatically runs for a second and a half or until it fires up. The low RPM assist feature keeps the fire lit in situations that could otherwise create a stall, such as when coming out of the hole or escaping traffic situations. The shift lever can be set up for GP shifting, and it comes with a bi-directional power shifter that lets you work both up and down the 6-gear range without touching the clutch. Power figures kept close to the vest. Last year, the ponies topped out at 185.1 horsepower, static, but underway the ram air effect pushed it up to an even 190 horsepower at 12,000 revolutions per minute. Torque topped out with 86.3 pound-feet at 10 grand and top speed clocked in at 186 miles per hour, and I expect that these numbers carried over with little to no improvement. MSRP on the 2020 GSXR 1000 is $15,599 sticker, a slight jump from last year's GSXR 1000X, and it comes with a choice between a black on black or white on black paint package. Please like and subscribe.